Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Many
Yes.
a warm welcome to today's session. 100 poets around the globe for love. This is the 11th episode of the session now. Let me, perhaps this is going live from Gronthee's page. Let me share from there so that you can perhaps share it. Your pages and your profile pages. Just a second.
I can see you.
One thing. Let me see Gronthee. So let me share it from there so that you can perhaps share from my profile as well. Right. Okay. I have managed to share now. So this is available in my profile. It is streaming live from the It is going live from my profile page. It is also going live from editor of the Gronthee, Shamim Shahan's profile page as well. So if you kindly share from there, our regular audiences know there's a hunting session of poetry that merges poets from different corners of the world. And then it also features some really powerful, captivating verses of poetry. And if you find it beneficial for you, if you find it good for you, if you find it captivating for yourself, I'm sure it will be beneficial for your friends. So please do share from Gronthee's page, from my profile page, wherever you like from. So let me, because you know this is 11th episode, we managed to talk, engage actually almost 50 wonderful, powerful poets of this time, which is great. Now it is 55, and then we are aiming to connect the leading poets from different countries, from different languages of the world as part of this series, 100 poets around the globe for love. Most of you know about the Gronthee. Gronthee is a leading platform for global art, especially global literature, global poetry. It was quite Bangladesh-centric movement, actually. In early 90s, it started with a literary publication called Gronthee. And that actually houses and that actually accommodates mainly new voices, experimental literature, and then powerful poetry, obviously, powerful and experimental fictions, essays on literature, philosophy, all different genres. And then now this is quite globe-centric, quite world-centric platform. Last year, it organizes International Poetry Festival, and then it is expanding gradually. And through this event, we are in conversation with many leading philosophers of this time, many leading poets of this time, many leading filmmakers of this time. And as you know, through this session, groundbreaking session, 100 poets around the globe, we are also featuring some leading, some wonderful, some phenomenal poets of this time from different parts of the globe. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our today's guests, today's guest poets. And let us start from our regular panel members. We have Shaheen Mitul, a spoken word artist, a wonderful friend, a concert organizer. Many thanks, Mitul, for joining. And a warm welcome to today's session.
Thank you very much. I'd like to cordially welcome today's distinguished guests, wonderful poets. I'm looking forward to having a great time with you today. Thank you.
Right, okay, let me, it looks like Sanaj is out, right, okay. We also have another, we also have the regular part of the series, the man who works behind this wonderful initiative, the editor of the Gronthee, poet Shamim Shahan. Many thanks for joining and a warm welcome to today's session.
Good evening. Today is the 11th day of 100 Poets Around the World for Love as part of the Gronthee Facebook Live series. I cordially welcome poet Aysa Jhorna, poet Hafiz Rashid Khan, poet NigarArif, poet Sanaz DavoodzadehFar, and poet Saubhik De Sarkar. Poet, friend, and my brother T M Ahmed Kaysher has already introduced about Gronthee initiative. The Gronthee is one of the top platform for South Asian literature, philosophy, and socialism between. We start with a bunch of friends at the beginning at early 1990s. That was purely Bangladesh centric. Now it is becoming quite a global platform. The people we invite the platform have created their own location from their respective places. It may be poetry, article, novels, or criticism. From the beginning of the gland to the present day, everyone is doing the work on their own. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to those friends, including poet Jafir Shetu, poet Mushtaq Ahmaddin, poet T M Ahmed Kaysher, poet Mahbub Lilen, novelist Ahmed Minhaj, poet Helalamo Chaudhry, poet Laik Ahmed Numan, and many more. The Gronthee has been able to conquer the country and create a unique platform in the world. The series that we have started on the Facebook Live is being watched from all over the world. Greeting and love to all who are watching this show today. Thanks to everyone, including one of our team members, Shaheen Mitul. Thank you.
Many thanks, Shamim Shahan. So let me introduce our featuring poet today, the poets that we are featuring today. So first of all, Hafiz Rashid Khan, who joined from Bangladesh, a very powerful poet. Many thanks for joining as part of this series. Hafiz Bhai, and a warm welcome to today's session.
আমি তো বাংলাতেই বলবো।
ঠিক আছে।
আমার ভাষা তো বাংলা, মাতৃভাষাও বাংলা, আছিও বাংলাদেশে। তো সবাইকে প্রথমত শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি। গ্রন্থী সম্পাদক কবি শামীম শাহান, কবি টি এম আহমেদ কায়সার, কবি সানাজ দাউদ্জাদেফার, কবি নিগার আরিফ, কবি সৌভিক দে সরকার, সবাইকে আমি আমার শুভেচ্ছা এবং ভালোবাসা জানাচ্ছি। আশা করি আপনারা সবাই ভালো আছেন। সকলের কবিতা শুনবো, ইংরেজিতেও হয়তো বুঝবো, অতটা আমি ফ্লুয়েন্টলি ইংরেজি বলতে পারি না। তো সারা বছর শোনা যাচ্ছে?
It's not a problem at all.
Sure.
তো ঠিক আছে, সবাইকে
thank you Hafiz bhai, many thanks. Let me thank you. We have Aysa Jhorna, who who joined from Bangladesh, a very powerful poet, many and translator, in some extent essayist as well. So many thanks, Aisha, for joining as part of this series, and a warm welcome to today's session.
Thank you, Mr. Kaysher. Actually, I know you earlier because you have inspired me to do the translate of Kabafi's poem. And you know, I have already translated the book and
Wow.
it's already published one. So from that time, I'm very fond of you. When Shan told me about you, I was telling about that. So today I'm going to introduce you myself, but I'm Aysa Jhorna, poet of 90s. I write poetry, prose, essays, and short stories, other translation also.
Great.
And I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy to join with you here. And good evening to all of my friends.
Thank you, Aisha. We have Sanaz DavoodzadehFar, who joined from Luxembourg, a very powerful, a very prominent, extremely talented Iranian poet. Many, many thanks, Sanaz, for joining as part of this series, and a warm welcome to today's session.
Thank you very much, and hello to everybody. I feel so happy to be part of this great event with great poets from all around the world.
Thank you. Many, many thanks, Sanaz. We have NigarArif, who joined from Azerbaijan, a wonderful, phenomenal poet of this time. Many thanks, Nigar, for joining as part of the series. Welcome to today's session. You are muted at this moment. If you kindly unmute, if you are muted, so if you kindly unmute yourself. You are on mute now. You are on mute, Nigar. So if you kindly unmute, yeah.
So is it okay now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, we are hearing you.
Hello to everyone. It's marvelous to see each of you, and I'm greeting all of you and all the people who are watching us right now or who are going to watch us later as well. And I'm very happy to be here today and to going to read my poems in this global poetic platform, and to be one of the 100 poets from all over the world who are joining this program for love. And I'm very thankful to you for inviting me.
Thank you, Nigar. Thank you, Nigar. Yeah.
I'm sure that it will be very interesting talk and very nice.
Exactly. Look forward to hearing. Look forward to hearing your poetry. Look forward to hearing more anecdote or more about yourself. We have Saubhik De Sarkar, who joined from India, a wonderful poet of this time, a Bengali poet based in Kolkata. Many thanks, Saubhik, for joining as part of this series. Welcome to today's session.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Gronthee for organizing such a beautiful event. I've now just seen the earlier sessions, so they're wonderful. I'm very much happy to be here. Just looking forward to hear your poems, and I will read my own poems in Bangla and English.
Thank you. Many, many thanks. Great. One thing I need to share, before we start this session, the weather wasn't that good here in Leeds. I'm talking from Leeds, actually, Leeds, the northern part of England. But soon as we have started this beautiful session of poetry, sun is dazzling in the sky. So let me send you all this the dazzling rays of the sun. I'm sure, I know that some parts of the globe now it is night, but let me send you the love and the beautiful sun rays from here in Leeds. So, ladies and gentlemen, those who are listening now, well, Azerbaijan, is it 7 o'clock now? Is it almost dusk in Azerbaijan, isn't it, Nigar? quite?
Yeah, it's already 20 minutes past.
20 minutes past. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sun almost is set in Azerbaijan. Quite night in Bangladesh. So this the globe has a quite various time, various moments. But we will be immersed in the haunting verses of poetry for some couple of hours actually. So let us start from let us start from Sanat. So how are you, Sanat? Are you all right?
Yes, I'm great with the great people, with the poets. I feel so great.
Luxembourg, how is the weather in Luxembourg?
Luxembourg a little bit cold, but it's still good. We have sun, and it's an important thing.
So I was so excited to find out that your book is now available in Amazon, and those poetry, which was the part of this book, was published in many prestigious journals, literary journals in Arab, in Iran, and you. I read some of your poems, so that echoes the beauty of Persian poetry. So you are almost like inheriting the treasure and the illimitable heritage of Persian poetry. And that perhaps was really intriguing for myself to read more. And that makes myself being interested in reading your poetry. So can you just briefly, before you start reading your poems, could you just start briefly talking about your book, first of all? And secondly, if you kindly, that is something I feel embarrassed to ask, especially a poet, why or how love is shaping your poetry or shaping your literature, because love means so much in poet's life or in artist's life. It becomes vast and vast and vast, and it is quite an unending space you are expecting, unending time you are expecting when you ask something like this to a poet. But if you can tell us briefly how love is shaping your poetry or your literature, and then if you kindly start reading.
Love is an important part of the life, even that I mean myself, living in the Middle East. I come from an area in the world that on the one hand, it's a cradle of civilization and has had a direct effect on formation of human culture. And on the other hand, it is still fighting for freedom and democracy in a violence space. And poetry and literature as become their god or take their content from the community. Most of the concepts and subject in the literature of my country are affected by this permanent war for freedom. So my poetry is made like this too. Unfortunately, war, violence against women, inequality, injustice, censorship, or suppression is a part of my today's society. And I live and grow up in this such a situation. But I hope that one day, instead of suffering, I'll reflect on joy in my poetry. And about my book, I Walk on Dead Words, published in Canada, and now it's available on Amazon. And I will read some of this poem.
Thank you,
When,
Sanad. Yeah, I know that your poetry is, well, every poetry is reflection of time, but your poetry depicts the contemporary time. But before you start reading, if Mitul can kindly give a brief introduction about Sanat.
Sure. Sanaz DavoodzadehFar, an Iranian poet and translator, was born in Iran. She completed her Masters of Science in Psychology. She began her artistic career with the theatre and worked in many plays and won many awards in this field. She worked as a storyteller for children. Shanaz sings traditional Iranian songs, and she is a student of Hari Maleki and Mostaba Asghari, the great musicians of traditional music in Iran. She began writing poetry in classical forms, and her poems were published in the most important Iranian journals and newspapers and sites like Rodaki, Zain, Emeruz, etc. Many of her poems were translated into other languages such as English, French, Spanish, German, Swedish, Kurdish. Her first collection, I Walk on Dead Letters, was translated into Arabic and published in Tammuz Publishing in Syria, and it is the first collection of poetry by an Iranian female poet which has been translated into Arabic after Farah Farrukhzad's book. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanad. If you kindly start reading, and also this is a kind request to all of our poets. If you kindly share this to your timeline, this is streaming live from Gronthee, my profile, Shamim Shahan's profile. So if you kindly share from there, we are actually inviting audiences from different backgrounds, from different dimensions, and for us to make it more interactive. So we have to make an interaction with audiences. It is good to see that audiences already have joined and left many wonderful feedbacks in the feedback thread, in the comment thread. So it's best if you kindly share your timeline, and that will Facebook will send a notification to your friends that this point is now on live. So please come and join. So,
yes, my pleasure.
Sanaz, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
If you open the borders, I will migrate to you without visa. My case is not political. I ran away in love. If I return, they will sew up my tongue and lips. Love is wordless, with border, homeless. When I started, finish it for you, and would continue many years for me. I was born crying. I lived shouting. I like taking my leave. I like to be small, same as Mona Lisa. When I slept in the bed, the nurses came. The clothes came too. There was a sound of waterfall everywhere. When the nurses went, I stayed in a place like north. Everything was fresh and it had a wet smell. All options are on the table. The morning painting is on your wall. My running in alongside your absence. Our meeting in a sentence is same as meeting two hands, meeting two lips. You still pour the silence into glass, and I drink your dream. Window is a waltz smile to me, who tests the flying just with a pencil. The window is the start of flying.
Wow. Window is a start of flying. How beautiful is that? Exactly, exactly. And the poet always can make their own window. An artist always can make their own windows.
Yeah.
For them to start flying. Great.
Yeah. So I can continue.
Can we have another, if you don't mind, Sanaz, this is a request, because we need to promote the beauty of different languages. If you kindly read one from Persian.
Yes, in Persian, yes, of course.
Yeah.
وقتی که خوابیدم پرستاران آمدند، ابرها هم، صدای آبشار در همه جا. پرستاران که رفتند من ماندم و جایی شبیه شمال، همه چیز تازه با بوی نم.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great. Great. Thank you, Sanaz. We'll come back to you again. Mitul, if you kindly read some audience's feedback, if that's okay.
Sure. Rosanna Camarena, hello everyone.
Rosanna is a wonderful poet from Mexico, a great supporter of Gronthee's initiative, who has been featured as part of the series as well. Hello back to Rosanna. Many thanks for joining and many thanks for sharing. And look forward to meeting you here in London.
She has written, congrats for your 11th reunion. Henry Chapon, Shobhike Bhalobasha Apuran.
Henry Chapon is also a poet from Bangladesh, a friend of us. Many thanks, Henry Chapon, for watching and your wishes.
Shumon Bonik, Shubhokamona Niranpur. Johar Hussain, today's program seems unique. Poet Hafiz Rashid Khan, Aysa Jhorna, and other poets, a tremendous thanks. As always, thanks to poet T M Ahmed Kaysher, Shamim Shahan, and Shaheen Mitul. Igor Orifisi, Joy Kobita, Viva Poetry, cheers.
Many thanks, Igor. It's nice to see that Igor is watching. Igor is a phenomenal music, especially flute player, flautist from Italy, who has been featured as part of Shodho's event, the organization that I direct, and that is promotes the predominantly Indian classical but global music as well. A wonderful researcher, very talented researcher of Indian flute, and a phenomenal flute player. Many thanks, Igor, for watching.
And he has also added, Namaskar, nice to hear that. It would be wonderful to hear some Iranian songs. Much respect for the Iranian poets and freedom fighters of Iran too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then there is a request from Johar Hussain. I'm really looking forward to listening to poet Hafiz's poem, Adibashis.
Your last word wasn't audible, Shaheen. So what did he say?
There is a request from Johar Hussain. He requested for poet Hafiz Rashid Khan to read his poem Adibashi.
Adibashi, right, great. Many thanks. Joy Hussain is also a poet, a friend of us from Bangladesh. Many thanks, Joy Hussain, for watching and your inspiring comment. So our next poet, let us go back to Saubhik De Sarkar. Many thanks, Saubhik De Sarkar again. Namaskar to you, and a warm welcome to today's session. How is Kolkata? In terms of COVID?
Well, actually, I do live far away from Kolkata,
Right.
but this in Alipurduar, the northern part of West Bengal.
Okay.
But the
Right.
pandemic situation now is very difficult here. I mean, it's spiraling up the cases. But anyway, we have to move on. We have to move on with these disorders and all other things. And as you said earlier, love is the word. I think that it's a very multidimensional word, which is the force behind everything. How to combat these things, all these abnormal situation, we can combat with love.
True.
I would like to read some of my poems in
Okay, so if you
Bangla, and
kindly,
of course,
perhaps, if you kindly read, perhaps 3 or 4. So one thing you can, I would like to remind that if you read in Bengali, you don't need to read English translation, but you can read English translation as a solo poem. So if you read one English translation, you don't need to read the Bengali version. So let us read perhaps
definitely.
two from English and 2 from Bengali.
That will
And
be
if
better. I
Mitul
think
can
that will be better
kindly,
for the larger audience.
if Mitul can kindly give a brief introduction about Saubhik De Sarkar.
Sure. Saubhik De Sarkar is a Bengali poet and translator based in Alipurduar, West Bengal. His first book of poems,
Mitul, তুমি unmute.
Mitul, if you just could unmute yourself.
Still mute.
Yeah, if you kindly start from beginning.
Saubhik De Sarkar is a Bengali poet and translator based in Alipurduar, West Bengal. His first book of poems, Shit O Boyosondhir Hashpatal, was published in 1995. His poetry collections include Ekti Mridu Lal Rekha, Jatrabari, Dakhul Shutro, Onugoto Bafar, etc. He has translated Sadat Hussein Monto, Federico Garcia Lorca, Julio Cortázar.
Wow, that's great to know.
Bolaño.
Cortázar is one of my most favorite writers.
Yes, he is amazing.
Great, amazing writer. Wow, fantastic
Amazing
to know that you translated Cortázar. Right.
Roberto Bolaño and many others into Bengali. He is the recipient of Kobita Pakhik Award, Mollar Award, Mollika Sengupta Award, Omar Kumar Boshu Sriti Puraskar, and participated in Sangam House International Writers Residency Program. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
So Saubhik, if you kindly start reading your poems, and congratulations on your work, especially the translation that you did. We need to make a bridge actually to promote humanity as one, and especially the writers in different corners of the world. Sometimes I feel so connected, and they are so powerful. And when I find that someone has translated, and just to make a bridge, just for other languages, only because I was born in Bengali, why shouldn't I have the opportunity to read the treasure of world like Cortázar? And why, only because someone was born in Iran, why shouldn't he or she have the opportunity to read Tagore, for an example, or the contemporary powerful poet? And those who translate, they prove that they are not selfish people. They get the beauty of the literature, and then they translate and let others have the same opportunity to enjoy the beauty and power of different literature. So many thanks and congratulations to the works you have done, and let us get immersed in your poetry now.
Thank you, Shamim. আমার প্রথম কবিতা শব্দের দিন। শেষ অবধি ছায়াটিও দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে মৃত্যুর দূরত্বে। শাওয়ারের স্রোতে পুড়ে যায় নীল নগ্ন নখ। কোথায় জন্মদাগ ছিল তোমার? কোথায় অবিকল ওই খণ্ড পৃথিবীর আলো? আজই বিকেল বেলা খুচরো পয়সার মতো ছড়িয়ে পড়ে বিষাদ। রোগা জাজমৌ, চন্দন ঘাটের ইশারা, ভুল হলো কোথাও? বিশ্বাসের আড়ালে ডানা মেলে দিচ্ছে ঊষর বিকেলের আলো। উৎসবের তীব্র স্রোত থেকে মুখ ফিরিয়ে তুমি দেখছো ঈশ্বরের নিচু চোয়াল, দেখছো তিজান বাইয়ের মুগ্ধতা। সবার স্রোত ফিরিয়ে দিচ্ছে নৌকোর মুখ। আজ তাহলে ভুলের কথাই হোক। দেওয়ালের অন্তরঙ্গ ছায়া ঢেকে দিচ্ছে মৃত বন্ধুর লেখা। পায়ের কাছে জমে উঠছে ব্রাত্য অকর্মণ্য মেঘ। আজ তাহলে ভুলের কথাতেই ঈশ্বরের পড়ে পাওয়া দাঁত। সীমান্ত বিস্তৃত এই সব শব্দের ভেতর অন্ধ মানুষের গান। পার ভাঙার শব্দ হচ্ছে কোথাও। আমার পরবর্তী কবিতা।
Fantastic, great.
Thank
পার
you.
ভাঙার শব্দ হচ্ছে কোথাও, বাহ।
তিনটি ছোট ছোট কবিতা একটি সিরিজে লিখেছিলাম, ভুল বিষয়ক তিনটি কবিতা। প্রথম কবিতা প্রমাদ বীজ। বিবৃতির জন্য একটি ছায়া, আর ছায়ার জন্য একটি নিরীহ খতিয়ান বিন্দু। আমার অন্বেষণ ফাটিয়ে ঢুকে পড়ছে তুলোর গজ। বেরুট, একজন প্রকৃত মোমেনা। পরবর্তী উচ্চারণের দিকে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে জীব, একটি কাঙ্ক্ষিত স্মৃতি। ছায়ার মেরু আর ডায়ালের নিকৃষ্ট কাঁটা। বছর ফিরে আসছে, নিরুদ্দিষ্টের দিকে উড়ে যাচ্ছে জেমস ক্লিপ, সন্ধ্যা তারা, এইসব। ভুল চাট্টান। ফিমারের মাঝখানের গর্তটির প্রলেপ তোমাকে টেনে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে উত্থানের দিকে। তোমার মুখোমুখি বালির খাদান, প্রভাসের চিহ্ন, রক্তবর্ণে হীন হয়ে যাওয়া অভিধানের পাদটিকা। খুব উঠছে আজ শাল, বল্লা, হরিদ্রা, অগ্নিজঠর। চামড়ার আড়ালে ফুলে উঠছে লোহার কারুকাজ। ভ্রমচক্র। তিনজন অন্ধ লাঠি ঠুকে ঠুকে চিহ্নিত করছে নিজেদের। তিনজন অন্ধের ছায়া দীর্ঘতম সাদার দিকে এগিয়ে দিচ্ছে একটি জটিল অঙ্কের বিস্তৃতি। অগাস্টের কুল কিনারা। তিলার্ধের দিকে এগিয়ে দিচ্ছে সংক্রান্ত জলের বুহমুখ। তিনজন অন্ধ লাঠি ঠুকে ঠুকে পার হয়ে যাচ্ছে মানচিত্রের সরহদ, কাটা মেঘের ছিটমহল।
क्या बात, क्या बात।
আরো পড়বো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, sure.
মায়া দাগ। নির্মাণের আড়ালে যদি দেখে ফেলো লুকোনো জন্মদাগ, যদি ক্ষমা করো। উৎসবের পর এভাবেই নির্দিষ্ট হয়ে যায় অন্য একটি যুদ্ধক্ষেত্র। ফাঁকা মঞ্চ থেকে ছুটে যায় অহেতুক পালক, না লেখা পৃথিবীর ইতিহাস। ভোরের অচেনা আলোয় আমি চিনতে পারি একে। দেখি চুম্বন ক্ষতের মতো সহজবোধ্য হয়ে আসছে ইশারা। দেখি হাওয়ার প্রসব ক্ষেত্র। মৃত ছায়া ফেলে ওই যে লোকটি চলে গেল, সে কি তোমার ঈশ্বর? অচেনা কবিতার পাণ্ডুলিপি নিয়ে উঠে দাঁড়ালো যে লোকটি, সেও কি তোমার ঈশ্বর?
क्या बात।
ভারী মেঘের নিচে শেষবারের মতো চোখে পড়ে অসমাপ্ত রোদ। আমি ভুল করি, দেখি জীব ও জীবাশ্মের ছায়ায় গড়ে উঠছে বাড়িঘর। আরো অনেকটা দূর নখদর্পণের আড়ালে মানুষের ফেলে যাওয়া বিশ্বাস।
আহা আহা আহা, সাধু সাধু সাধু। Fantastic. Thank you, Shobik. We'll come back to you, but let us go back to our next poet. Let us have NigarArif. Many thanks, NigarArif, again for joining as part of the series. Mitul, if you kindly read some audience's comment, and then also if you kindly give a brief introduction about Nigar.
Devinder Singh Lamba, hi all, namaskar, shubho kamona.
Namaskar, Davinder ji, for watching from India, a great connoisseur of Indian classical music and seemingly poetry too. Many thanks for watching and many thanks for your inspiring comments.
And Wahid Sharo, Shakulki Shubhetsa Nabil. Aisha Runa, wow, it's a beautiful program. Nikhilesh Rai, Athi Priyojanera.
Nikhilesh Rai is also a poet who has been featured of this as part of this series, perhaps in last session. Many and a wonderful poet as well. Many thanks, Nikhilesh Rai, for watching and your beautiful comment.
And Jawhar Hussain has written, I'd also like to listen to one of my most favorite poets, Aysa Jhorna. Then Pri Ganguly, translations open up so many different words. There is so much love in being able to get to the core of another language, to feel its depth.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly, Shri. Many thanks for your comment. Shri is also a phenomenal fiction writer, a wonderful friend of mine. Many thanks for watching. And rightly said, if you'd like to make the world as one, this is very important that we can translate. We translate. We are familiar with the different ideas of different corners of the world, and that will perhaps merge us more, as long as we can find out more about, especially the more about creative ideas, creative works like literature, music, and the aim of the art actually to make yourself familiar with the rest of the world. So that's how, even though we haven't visited Latin America, but we are so much familiar with Latin American landscape through the beautiful, wonderful writers that Shobik also translated Marquez. So these writers actually opened up a horizon for us to see the rest of the world and to merge a human being as one. So many thanks. Have you got any more comment to read? And perhaps if you kindly give a brief introduction on NigarArif, who has joined from Azerbaijan.
Yeah, sure. NigarArif was born on 20th January 1993 in Azerbaijan. She studied at Azerbaijan State Pedagogical University in the English faculty from 2010 to 2014. NigarArif is a member of the World Youth Turkish Writers Union and graduated from the Youth Writers School in Azerbaijan's Azerbaijan Writers Union. She is also a member of the International Forum of Creativity and Humanity in Morocco. Her poems have been partially translated into English, Turkish, Russian, Persian, and Spanish, and have been published in different countries. She was a participant of 4th Left Eurasian Literary Festival of Festivals, which was held in Baku in 2019, and 30 Festival International de Poesia de Medellin in 2020, which was held in Colombia virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitul. Actually, the COVID has some positive thing. Actually, every cloud has silver lining. The COVID gave us an opportunity to meet and to get connected with so many beautiful poets, so many groundbreaking works of philosophers, writers, poets. But what is missing now, the live event, and then we are missing the live event. So we look forward to having all of you, perhaps here in London, as part of International Poetry Festival. Talking virtually doesn't quench our thirst. So look forward. And perhaps we'd also like to visit some other areas. Rosanna is based in Mexico and she organizes so many wonderful events of poetry and literature. So perhaps we'd like to visit other countries soon after this COVID. So Nigar, many thanks again for joining. If you kindly read some poetry, especially we'll come back again in first time. If you read about three or four, and how is Azerbaijan now in relation to COVID, perhaps, and if you kindly tell us how love actually shapes your poetry or influences your poetry, if you'd like to talk briefly. And what are you reading at this moment, especially during COVID? It opens up an opportunity. It gives a huge opportunity to read something which was piled up for long, years after years, and we thought we'll read, but we didn't have any opportunity to read them, open the book actually. But perhaps this is a great chance, great opportunity to read whatever we have left for years. So would like to share what are you reading so that perhaps it may direct us to read or inspire us to read now?
Yeah, I was always busy with the reading some books during this pandemic. And before, the situation was very tough and difficult, but gradually it's going better. For example, before we couldn't go out, and only 1 or 2 hours we can go out by the message, and only the markets and pharmacies were open. But now cafes and restaurants and workplaces gradually are going to be open. And we were fed up masks. But now we can go out without masks. But when we go into the closed places, we exactly wear masks, but we hate it. And love is the meaning of life, I think, and it's the main thing that for example, without love, I can't imagine the world. Even for working and for being successful in our work, we should love our work, and for writing, we should love our language and the words and the poetry, for example. And it's said that love is God, and God is all around in one song, which is my favorite one, and it's said in my one of my favorite singers' song. She is Imani, and as I said in my poem, love is the best engravement, and we can treat more people with love, and it's the meal of our soul, it's the power. I told this word one of my poem called Human's Reign, which I dedicated to this COVID-19, the quarantine time. I will start my poem with reading this one, if you are not mind. So can I start, or?
Yeah, sure, please do.
So, Human's Reign. Here is the city. People break out and leave. Here the snows and rains washing their footprints. Even the sun shines in every morning. Winds blow and sleek. Nothing can remove us. Nothing can be changed. People soak up to its memory from its pocket face. They fetch their colors with themselves, keeping the city pale. Everywhere is dull. Everything turns to a grey tale. People rain, and rain falls from their eyes in every single day. And those getting wet in the heart of this city who can't run away. Humans are raining cats and dogs. Ambulances revolve like the umbrellas under the zig drops. Either the nights or the noons wobble from their homes. The whole world tumbles from its place and falls. Day by day, week by week, streets become empty. The roads, cafes see the end. The shoulders of the heavy shops are going to bend. The huge buildings, the small houses between the city's arms, peeping out with fear at the neck does, that it does in the village, travels to the countries. Lonely trees are getting bored, the flowers, birds, and meadows from the dusty feet of this city, missing of the man. Who knows? Maybe in their own language they even rail these damn kids in quarantine. Now we know, Mom. Cities and countries can also catch the disease. What can I say? Don't worry, everything will be okay. There are hopes that draw till the hero of this city. There are our dreams putting the hands to its forehead to check the heat. Maybe we found the best treatment, Mom. Love is the best engraftment, as you always said. This is the first one.
Thank you. Thank you.
And can I read the next one?
Yeah, sure, sure.
The next one is called Run After Childhood. Although I am younger, but it describes the older one. And that's why when I read it, some people are surprised because it's not for my age, but I dedicated this one to my grandmother. Actually, when I was a child, I used to spend more time with her, and we played domino together. And sometimes, not sometimes, but often, she told me some stories and tales. And this poem is talking about it. Run after childhood. My eyes slowly drift away from me. See the things through glasses as grow old. My feet have got a fast walk running before me, 'cause they are in a hurry to reach to my childhood. My fluffy hair's looking for its braid time. It becomes white and bare like this winter. Time calls on wrinkles my face and hands, road to road, as I'm bored year by year. That's how I'm getting older tale by tale. My pains turn into small kids like my children, listening to my stories and fairy tales. Don't even get off my arms and knees. The old years like the black and white points come on and stay in the domino stones. I lose each game on purpose to my grandchild at my old age in my childhood years. That's it.
Thank you.
The next one.
Yeah. Is it possible to read anything in Azerbaijan language?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So let me choose which one I can read in Azerbaijan. I have one poem called Wind. Perhaps I'll read it in English too. So
Okay.
now I'm going to read it in Azeri.
Thank you.
Qapı qapı gezen külək, bircə qapı gəzirsən. Gözün belə toxdurmu? Günəşli isti yay günlərində açdığın o qapılar hanı indi? Yoxdurmu? Hanı səni sevənlər, evinə qonaq edənlər, səninlə dincələnlər hanı? Qapı qapı gəzən külək. Hanı indi soyuqlar düşəndə, havalar dəyişəndə. Oh, I lose it. Just a moment. Hanı səni sevənlər, evinə qonaq edənlər, səninlə dincələnlər hanı? Qapı qapı gəzən külək. Hanı indi soyuqlar düşəndə, havalar dəyişəndə. I don't know what happened, but
is it in that case, if you have English translation, you can perhaps read the English one.
Let me read another one because I lost it.
Okay.
It's called Barış. for a cancellation. Özündən küsən adam, günahların çoxdumu? İtirdiyin özünsən, qazandığın yoxdumu? Kim sən aldı səndən? Harda, necə unutdu? Kim tutdu ürəyini, kim bu qədər avutdu? Kim çürütdü ömrünü üzünə baxa-baxa, nələr qoydu gözündə gözündən axa-axa? Bəlkə elə özünsən, özünə dərd olmusan, sevincini əlindən bəlkə özün salmısan. Özünə dərd eləmə, dərdindən bezən adam, yollarından yorulub, fikrində gəzən adam. Qayıt, yoluna qayıt, barış o küslüyünlə, əlini ver, dur görüş, əlini üzdüyünlə. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nigar. We'll come back to you soon again. Many thanks for this beautiful, beautiful poetry. Our next poet is Hafiz Rashid Khan.
Thank you.
Mitul, if you kindly read a brief introduction on Hafiz Rashid Khan, but before this, if you kindly read some more audience's comment as well, if that's okay.
I've lost the comments in the live stream. I'll come back to that later.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hafiz Rashid Khan, born on June 23rd, 1961, is a Bangladeshi post-colonialist poet, author, editor, journalist, and researcher. His research works are particularly focused on the Aborigines. His literary philosophy mostly comes from the practice of the neo-colonialism, and he is known as post-colonialist writer and reputed for working in the tribal area at the Chittagong Hill Tracts in Bangladesh. As of 2019, he wrote 25 titles, including 15 poetry and 8 criticism. In 1982, Hafiz Rashid published his first poetry, Jhorna Kemon Pudete. He worked with several literary magazines during his early writing career. He received several awards, including Chittagong City Corporation Literary Award for contributing in Bengali essay, honored by Chittagong City Corporation in 2016. He was also awarded Kolkata Little Magazine Library Award by Kolkata Little Magazine Library and Research Center. He has written several books of poetry and research on the pre-ethnic groups living in Bangladesh, especially the indigenous culture and the way of life in Chittagong Hill Tracts. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mitul. Hafiz Rashid Khan, Hafiz bhai, আপনাকে একটু আনমিউট করতে হবে, একটু আনমিউট করে। I will talk to Hafiz bhai in Bengali, but I will try to translate the synopsis of our conversation. I'll try at least. Hafiz bhai, if you kindly unmute yourself, আপনাকে এখন আপনার ইয়েটা আনমিউট করতে হবে। মিউটেড আছে আর কি, ওখানে একটা ওখানে একটা টিপ দিলে বোধহয় এক্স্যাক্টলি মিউট না। এক্স্যাক্টলি
ঠিক আছে এখন না?
একদম একদম। আপনি কেমন আছেন? আপনি কেমন আছেন?
এই তো করোনা কালে খুব ভীতির মধ্যে আছি, মোটামুটি বেঁচে আছি এই আর কি।
আমার একটা লাইন মনে পড়ছে আর্লি 90s এ খুব, এবং একটা লাইন আমার এজন্য মনে হয়, কথায় কথায় একটা চিঠিতে লিখেছিলেন যে কবিতার কাছেই তো জানু পেতে বসে আছে। মানে আর্লি 90s এ, 93 94 এ তখন তখন আপনি একটা চিঠিতে লিখলেন কবিতার কাছেই তো জানু পেতে বসে আছে, এবং এটা একজন কমিটেড কবি, মানে কবিতার কাছেই তো শুশ্রূষা প্রার্থনা করি, কবিতার কাছেই তো জীবন প্রার্থনা করি কবিতার কাছে। এবং এই লাইনটা এমন ভাবে ছুঁয়ে গেল যে কবিতা ছাড়া তো জীবনও ব্যর্থ, ঠিক না? জীবন তো আসলে ডেস্টিন টু বি ফিউটাইল, ডেস্টিন টু বি ফেইল। আসলে পরাজয়ের জন্যই জীবন, সামেশন অফ ডিফিট। যদিও আমরা নানাভাবে একে মহিমান্বিত করেছি, মানে মহিমান্বিত করার চেষ্টা করছি, কিন্তু আমার কাছে মনে হয় হাফিজ ভাই এখনো সেই আগের মতো করেই এখনো দেখি জানু পেতে বসে আছে। এখনো আমাদের থেকে যে সামান্য লিটল ম্যাগাজিন গুলো পাই, দেখি যে লেখাগুলো দেখি, এখনো দেখি ওই জানু পেতে কবিতার কাছেই শুশ্রূষা প্রার্থনা করছেন। কবিরা তো আসলে মানে জন্ম থেকেই একটা মনোবিকলন নিয়েই জন্মায়, একটা ডিপ্রেশন, একটা আনডিফাইন্ড একটা বেদনা নিয়েই জন্মায়, একটা অলৌকিক বেদনার ভার নিয়ে কবিরা জন্মায় তো পক্ষে। তো এখন আমার কাছে মনে হয় আমি হাফিজ ভাইয়ের কবিতা যেগুলো দেখলাম, এবং নানাভাবে কিন্তু হাফিজ ভাই নিজেকে ভেঙেছেন। আদিবাসীদের সাথে আদিবাসী কবিতা নিয়ে আপনার কাজগুলো একাত্তর দেখেছি নানাভাবেই। ৮০ থেকে এখন পর্যন্ত হাফিজ ভাই মানে অটল আছেন, এবং নানাভাবে নিজেকে ভেঙে চড়ে অটল যে থাকতে পারা, এটা এজন্য অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি। অনেকদিন মানে কথা হতো, দীর্ঘদিন পরে আর কথা হলো না। আমরা আসলে মনে হলো আসলে তো হারায় না, কিছুই হারায় না, দেখো কিছুই হারায় না, কোনো কথাও হারায় না, আমরা ঠিকই পুনরাবিষ্কার করি, একে অপরকে পুনরাবিষ্কার করি। তো হাফিজ ভাই আপনার কাছে একটু মানে সামান্য ব্রিফলি যদি একটু বলেন, মানে এটা হলো 100 poets around the globe না, মানে ভালোবাসার জন্য আসলে তো যত কিছুই করি, সমস্ত কিছুর বীজ তো মানে ভালোবাসাই, মানে নানা ফর্মে ভালোবাসাটাকে তো মানে কোনো একরৈখিক বিষয় না, যেটা এটা ঠিক লিনিয়ার ওয়েতে দেখা যায়। তা আপনার কাছে একটু ভালোবাসা নিয়ে 2-3 লাইন শুনে পরে আপনার কবিতায় ফিরে যেতে চাই।
ধন্যবাদ। এই আয়োজনটা আসলে আমার প্রথম থেকেই বেশ দৃষ্টি এবং মন আকর্ষণ করেছে। গ্রন্থির এই আয়োজন, এটা বেশ একটা সাড়া ফেলেছে আমি যা দেখলাম, এবং এতে আজকে যে আপনারা আমাকে এখানে ডেকেছেন সেজন্য আমি আপনাদের বিশেষ করে গ্রন্থি পরিবারকে আমার আন্তরিক শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি। এবং আমি প্রথমে আমি একটা কবিতা পড়ছি আমাদের বিজয় দিবস নিয়ে। কবিতাটা শিরোনাম হচ্ছে বিজয়, একটা সাদা প্রজাপতি। বিজয় একটা সাদা প্রজাপতি, যতবার 16 ডিসেম্বর আসে ওই প্রজাপতি পৃথিবী ভ্রমণ সেরে বাংলাদেশে ফেরে খানিকটা বিশ্রামের প্রয়োজনে। তখন তাহার মখমল পাখনায় বাজে শিশির বিন্দুর ভেজা কলতান। তখন সকল নদীর কিনার থেকে ভাসতে ভাসতে আসে মর্ম ছোঁয়া লোকগানের কোরাস। নগরগুলোর বুক থেকে কেবলই উছলে উঠে শোভাযাত্রা ও উল্লাস, আর স্মৃতির বিরুদ্ধে বিস্মৃতির বিরুদ্ধে স্মৃতির আন্দোলন। ওই সাদা প্রজাপতিটাকে সকলেই চেনে, ও তো আমাদের আকাঙ্ক্ষার মসনবী, অবিস্মরণীয় গীতাঞ্জলি, ওর শরীরের থির থির কাঁপুনি
Hafiz bhai, perhaps I'm not sure whether he lost the connection. Hafiz bhai, can you hear me? আমার মনে হলো হয়তো মানে perhaps Hafiz Rashid Khan has lost the connection. Right, okay. We can Shamim Shahan, if you kindly try contacting Hafiz Rashid Khan. He is now not here, I think. I think because he lost the connection. Let us start with Aysa Jhorna, and then we'll come back to Hafiz Rashid Khan once he manages to arrive. Mitul, if you kindly read a brief introduction on Aysa Jhorna.
Sure. Aysa Jhorna, a poet of the 90s from Bangladesh, writes poems, essays, short stories. Experiment in poetry is her passion, with a vision to search her own voice. Aysa Jhorna is very popular among poetry lovers in Bangladesh and Kolkata. She translated Sylvia Plath's poems into Bengali. So far, she has 11 books to her credit, including 6 poetry books, 1 short story book, 1 book of essays, along with three translated books of poetry from English to Bengali. Her published books are Adhar Jan at 1996, Matro Manush 2003, Ununer Gan 2005, Aina Rokto Holla 2007, Batash Tarito Shabdo 2011, Nirbachito Kobita Shankaran 2017. Short story Charcoal, published in 2008, essay book Shilpo Onari Shotta, then translated books Sylvia Plath's poems, 2010, CP Kavafi's poem, 2017, then Nari Shore, 2013, World Women's Poem. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mitul. Welcome again, Aysa Jhorna, a phenomenal poet and a fiction writer, an essayist, and a translator. Congratulations on the phenomenal works that you have done so far. Amar, though I can recall, perhaps in Facebook, I wrote something on Kavafi. To be honest, Kavafi intrigued me a lot while I was reading. And especially, I talked about it so many times. I divide poetry into 2 different categories. Poetry that I can read before midnight and poetry that I can read after midnight. So Kavafi is the one that I can read after midnight. George Seferis is the one that I can read after midnight. So the poetry that always meditates you, transcends you to different worlds. And Kavafi has so many things that can captivate a sensitive heart, especially a poet who was always in depression, who finds even the rays of the sun depressive, rays of the sun as if torturing your skin. That's what Kavafi wrote. And Aysa was very much interested in Kavafi after that post that I did in English, perhaps in Facebook about 6 or 7 years ago. And then I realized just now, and perhaps 2 days ago, that Shamim Shahan told me that Aysa translated the poetry of Kavafi. Congratulations on this. I think the beauty of Kavafi's poetry needs to be known by the rest of the world. A wonderful Greek poet who lived quite significant time in Egypt as well. So many thanks, Aysa. I read your poetry, to be honest, in early or mid-90s, actually, in some little magazines. But look forward to reading more on the poets that we are featuring. So this is equally applicable for Nigar, equally applicable for Sanaz, equally applicable for Saubhik, Hafiz Rashid Khan, and others. Let us make a hope. This virtual opportunity, the virtual platform, always gave us a bit of opportunity as well. So we can make a hope. We can read each other. we can, I mean, and we can be familiar with each other's beautiful works, and that can inspire us more, merge us more. And I'm personally looking forward to that opportunity to read more and more about the poets we are featuring and about the poets we will be featuring. So Aysa Jhorna, একটা কথা প্রথমেই, let us start with the same question. Love, perhaps, if you'd like to talk briefly on love, how love is perhaps influencing or shaping your literary works. And perhaps what are you reading at this moment? Because for an artist, this time is giving a great opportunity to read and explore more about other works. So if you kindly share, and then we'll move on to listening your poetry. Can you hear me, Aysa? Aysa, you have to perhaps, no, you have to get your, if you have an earphone, if you have earphone, you have to get rid of this. We can't hear you, unfortunately. আচ্ছা, আপনি কি ইয়ারফোনে শুনছেন? আপনার ইয়ে তো ঠিক।
হ্যাঁ কায়সার, আমি আসছি এখন আবার।
হ্যাঁ হাফিজ ভাই, আপনার কাছে আসছি, একটু পরেই আসছি। আপনার লাইনটা বোধহয় কেটে গিয়েছিল, আমরা আসছি আপনার কাছে একটু পরেই। আয়সা, একটু যদি একটু বলা যায় কিনা? আপনার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে না আয়সা, আপনার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে না। আপনি, হ্যাঁ, এটা একটু খুলে নিন, আপনার ইয়ারফোনটা ডিভাইস থেকে খুলে নিন, ডিভাইস থেকে খুলে নিয়ে কথা বলুন, এখন কথা শোনা যাবে। আপনি ডিভাইস থেকে খুলে নিন পুরো ইয়ারফোনটা। আপনি খুললেন তো? একটু ডিভাইস থেকে খুলে, হ্যাঁ এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে। এখন যদি আপনি একটু, হ্যাঁ।
আমার সিগারেট প্যাকেটটা ম্যাচটা না, সমস্যা নেই, দেখা যাবে, কোনো ব্যাপার না। সিগারেট ম্যাচ আর
Okay, I'm going to read. Hello everyone, and hello my readers and viewers also. Bengali. Before that, some haiku. Recently, I'm experiment on haikus, and I have really long verses also. But before that, I want to read 3 or 4 haikus that I have written this pandemic time. So I'm going to read that. 3 haikus I'll read here. The tree. I asked the tree, where is your home? The tree became silent. Fan-tailed birds living there. Tree listened their warm whir, and the axe hurting the tree repeatedly. Wave. Wave moves through the time. Sea calls the wave by roaring. Wave time come from eternity. The bird. The bird in the cave of a tree asked the tree, where is the bird? Tree answered, the bird is free. Her wings will test the wind. Maybe then she will return. Sleep. I slipped into my dream, keeping the blind dream to a girl. I slept again. These are my haikus. So I'm experimenting on haikus. I would like to read some poems that I recently wrote. So I wrote in pandemic. I would like to read from there. Me too. I had to take in the printed because I didn't yet have the book. In next book fair of Crucial book fair in Bangla Academy. I don't know whether it will publish or not, but I'm getting ready for the book. So I'm going to read Mitul. In pandemic time, I have wrote the poem. আমি এটা পড়ছি। মৃত্যু। যখন অসুস্থ তুমি
ভাবো মরি হয়তো যাবে, ভালোবাসো পৃথিবী, ভালোবাসো গলি মোড়ে শিশুটিকে, বৃদ্ধকে আস্থার হাত দাও, বাড়িয়ে গোলাপ ভালোবাসো। দেখো কেমন রঙিন পৃথিবীটা, আজকের চাঁদ কালকের অমাবস্যা, আজকের রোদ কালকের বৃষ্টি। অন্ধ হইও না, না হও কালা, কান পেতে শোনো কান্না পাখিদের, ওরা কোথাও মৃতের জন্য করে না কিছু। উঠতে চেয়েছে চাঁদের আলোয় মুক্ত যে পাখি, উঠতে তাকে দাও, ভোরে তাকে পাবে মৃত, ডানা মুড়ে চোখ বন্ধ করে পড়ে আছে ছাদে নিয়ে। শুনবে না তুমি তার স্বর, দেখবে না তার পুচ্ছ তুলে নিঝুম মল্লা। I'd like to another poem. I'd like to read another poem. পাখিদের পাঠশালা। সামাজিক একটা আবর্তে ডুবে গেছি, যেখানে বাজছে কত সুরহীন অর্থহীন প্রলাপের মতো জ্যাজ মিউজিক। জীবনটা ঢুকে গেছে রক মিউজিক। আউলা ঝাউলা চুলে ব্যান্ড বাজাচ্ছে পাড়ার সেই খুদে উঠতি মাস্তান, তাদের সায় দিচ্ছে সদ্য ভার্সিটি পড়ুয়া কোনো তরুণী। আমার জীবন সেখানে কোলাহলময় এক অরণ্যে হাসছে, চাঁদের আলোয় অন্ধকার গেছে উড়ে, সে অরণ্যে গাছেরা নিজেরা কথা বলে ফিসফাস করে নিজেদের মধ্যে। এখানে মৃতেরা গান গায়, জীবিতরা তাতে কর্ণপাত করে। আমি তখনও বধির শোরগোলে, গাছেরা কি বলে বুঝতে চাইলে শুনি, টুংটাং পাখিদের স্বর বিলাপের। পাখিদের বলি চলো ঢেউ দেখি, জল কেমন আছড়ে পড়ে বালু তটে। ওরা উঠতে উঠতে পাতা হয়ে যায়, পাতাগুলো একদিন মরে যায়, আর সেখানে জন্মায় সজীব নতুন পাতা। জন্ম জন্মান্তরের ভেতর দিয়ে আমি পার হইয়া খুঁজছিলাম, যেখানে ফুটন্ত লাভার গনগনে আজ গায়ে এসেলাম। আমার দক্ষিণ জানালায় এক মায়া পাখি গেয়ে চলে হবে। এটা হলো আমি প্যান্ডেমিক টাইমে লিখেছি। প্যান্ডেমিক টাইমে আমি একটা বই রেডি করেছি অ্যাকচুয়ালি। সো আমি আমার অন্য যে বইগুলো, মানে আমার যে বইগুলো আছে সেখান থেকে কিছু কবিতা পড়তে চাই। Shall I read?
Yes, perhaps you can read another one, and then we'll come back to you again for reading the rest of those. Yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay. মায়া পাখি খুব সুন্দর লাগলো, ভীষণ সুন্দর মায়া পাখি, বাহ।
I'd like to read one poetry from here, and then you.
What's the title of the book, Aisha?
শূন্য ও পৃথিবী।
শূন্য বাহ
ও পৃথিবী।
বাহ শূন্য পৃথিবী।
This is a selected book of mine, শূন্য ও পৃথিবী। আমি এখান থেকে একটা কবিতা পড়ছি, থেরি গাথা। You know who was Theri? So আমি থেরি গাথা পড়ছি।
বাহ।
আমি যেদিন আমার খত সমেত বুদ্ধের সম্মুখে দাঁড়ালাম, তিনি তার অর্ধনিমিত চোখ খুলে তাকালেন আমার। অন্ধ আমার দু চোখ দৃষ্টি পেল তিনি। আমার খত শুকিয়ে সেখানে জন্ম নিল তারা জ্ঞান, মহাজীবন আর রুদ্র জীবনের মাঝে সৃষ্টি হলো এক যোগ সূত্র। উত্তরের হাওয়া এসে ঝরা পাতাদের উড়িয়ে বাড়িয়ে মৃত গাছটি জন্ম নিল সবুজ পাতা। হাহাকারের জীবনে পেলাম দিব্য জ্ঞান। বৃদ্ধ বললেন জীবন মৃত্যুর, বুদ্ধ বললেন জীবন মৃত্যুর মাঝে যে জীবন, সে জীবন তোমাকে দিল। যেখানে কোলাহল গেছে থেমে, নগরবাসী তাদের অমরাত্রির স্বপ্ন বুকে নিয়ে থাকে ঘুমি, জেগে উঠবে কোন রৌদ্রকরণ জুন সকালে। পৃথিবীর সব দুঃখ লীন হবে কি হবে না, থেমে থাকে না থেরি গাথা। হাজার হাজার বছর ঘুরে তা বয়ে চলে। খঞ্জনা হাতে বৈষ্ণবী অথবা চর্যা কাহ্নু পাবিরার দেশে জন্ম নেয় এক অসতিপর বুদ্ধিকে শোভা, তুমি কেন কম্বল নামিয়ে শীতে ঘুমিয়ে? বৃদ্ধাতার ছানি পড়া চোখে উঁচু নিচু রাস্তায় হাঁটতে হাঁটতে জানি গেল শীতে এভাবেই কেটেছে। আজ না হয় উষ্ণতার দিকে কান বাড়ালাম, দেখি শীত আমার মৃত্যু এনে দেয় কিনা, যে মৃত্যু আসলে অনন্ত জীবনেরই আরেক নাম। থ্যাংক
বাহ,
ইউ।
বাহ, বাহ।
পরে
Fantastic, Aisha. Many thanks. Many thanks. Hafiz Bhai, if you kindly read, Hafiz Bhai was disrupted for internet connections. If you kindly read another 2 poems, and then we'll come back to you again. Hafiz Bhai, আরো দুটো কবিতা যদি পড়া যায়, কারণ আপনি কবিতা পড়ার মাঝখানে কেটে গেল। আপনি একটু হাফিজ ভাই একটু আপনাকে আনমিউট করতে হবে, একদম একটু আনমিউট করাটা এখনো আপনি এখনো মিউটেড আছেন। একটু যদি আপনি আনমিউট করেন।
হ্যাঁ,
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, শুনতে পাচ্ছি এখন।
হ্যাঁ, তাইলে কি আমি ওই অর্ধেক যে কবিতাটা পড়েছিলাম ওটা কি শেষ করব?
একদম, প্লিজ। হ্যাঁ, প্লিজ।
তাইলে প্রথম থেকেই পড়তে হয়?
একদম একদম।
হ্যাঁ, তো কবিতাটা বলেছিলাম যে আমাদের বাংলাদেশের বিজয় দিবসকে নিয়ে লেখা এবং সঙ্গে জাতির পিতার প্রসঙ্গটি এসছে আর কি। বিজয় একটা সাদা প্রজাপতি। বিজয় একটা সাদা প্রজাপতি, যতবার 16 ডিসেম্বর আসে ওই প্রজাপতি পৃথিবী ভ্রমণ সেরে বাংলাদেশে ফেরে খানিকটা বিশ্রামের প্রয়োজনে। তখন তাহার মখমল পাখনায় বাজে শিশির বিন্দুর ভেজা কলতা। তখন সকল নদীর কিনার থেকে ভাসতে ভাসতে আসে মর্ম ছোঁয়া লোকগানের কোরাস। নগরগুলোর বুক থেকে কেবলই উছলে উঠে শোভাযাত্রা ও উল্লাস, আর বিস্মৃতির বিরুদ্ধে স্মৃতির আন্দোলন। ওই সাদা প্রজাপতিটাকে সকলেই চেনে। ও তো আমাদের আকাঙ্ক্ষার মসনবী, অবিস্মরণীয় গীতাঞ্জলি। ওর শরীরের ধীর ধীর কাঁপুনি অগ্নিবীণার কথা বলে। ওই সফেদ সুন্দর 75-এ আঘাতে আঘাতে লাল হয়ে কিভাবে আবার শুভ্র বর্ণ ধারণ করলো, সেই কিংবদন্তি আমাদের চেতনা ও হৃৎপিণ্ড জানে। বিশ্বজয়ী বাংলা ভাষা জানে, আমাদের শিল্পকলা ও সাহিত্য জানে। মেহনতি জনসাধারণ ও বুদ্ধিজীবী জানে, রাজনীতিবিদেরা সে বয়ান মানেন। বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে আবার, এই আবার চলে গেছে।
না না, চলে যায়নি, শুনতে পাচ্ছি তো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
শোনা যাচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
সেই কিংবদন্তি। আচ্ছা, সেই কিংবদন্তি আমাদের চেতনা ও হৃৎপিণ্ড জানে। বিশ্বজয়ী বাংলা ভাষা জানে, আমাদের শিল্পকলা ও সাহিত্য জানে। মেহনতি জনসাধারণ, বুদ্ধিজীবী আর রাজনীতিবিদেরা সে বয়ান মানেন। এভাবেই একটা সাদা প্রজাপতির আদলে বিজয় মানুষের ইতিহাসে নিয়ে এলো নতুন গৌরব। দ্বিতীয় কবিতা, প্রিয় সঙ্গ। পার্বত্য পথের প্রিয় সঙ্গ, কোথায় গিয়েছো তুমি? শিথিল হয়েছে অঙ্গ। তোমার মধুর বচন শুনবো বলে গভীর জঙ্গলে ঘুরি আমি, ঘুমায় গাছের তলে। চড়ুই পাড়ায় লিমুঝিরি গায়ে স্বজন সন্ধানে দৃষ্টি মেলে, চলি পায়ে পায়ে, কুলাঙ্গার কত অস্ত্রধারী, তির্যক কথার শিষ্টাচারহীন বাড়াবাড়ি, আমাকে পারে না দিতে ব্যারিকেড, আমি তো বিহঙ্গ মুক্ত পৃথিবীর কমরেড। সবিনয়ে জানাই গৌরবে, গাথা আছে আমার সম্প্রীতি নিসর্গের পল্লবে পল্লবে। কেন বাধা দাও অক্লান্ত পথিকে, ছুটেছে যে মিতার তালাশে দিকে দিকে। ভালো মানের ভালো মনের আওতায় হও না তোমরা শরণার্থী, করোনা প্রকাশ হৃদয়ের আরতি, তোমরা কেবলই চাঁদা পথে পথে বাধা, কেবলই বিভিন্ন মাংসের ভোজ, কেবলই হুঙ্কার, একটাই উচ্ছ্বাসা বুঝি তোমাদের একমাত্র অলংকার। নই আমি তোমাদের মতো, বন্ধুর প্রীতির খুশবুতে আমি অবনত, আমি কাঁদি ওর জন্যে, তোমাদের চেয়ে সেরা সে নিবাস ছিল এ অরণ্যে। আর পড়ব?
থ্যাংক ইউ। আরেকটা হাফিজ ভাই, and then we'll come back to you again. হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
বলুন আরেকটা। হাফিজ ভাই পড়ুন।
হাফিজ ভাই আরেকটা।
আচ্ছা, এবার একটু অন্যরকম কবিতা পড়ছি। এটা হচ্ছে আদিবাসীদের নিয়ে। এই কবিতাটার নাম হচ্ছে রেফ্রেসা মু। এটা একটি রাখাইন আদিবাসীদের শব্দ। এই শব্দটার অর্থ হচ্ছে চিরুনি পিঠা নিবি, চিরুনি পিঠা কেউ। কবিতার শিরোনাম রেফ্রেসা মু। সোনালি তলপেট মুক্ত করেছে শীতের সকাল, দু চোখে ঘুম নেই, রাত্রি সরেছে সে অনেক কাল। সুদূর ওপাড়ার রেগে খাং তীরে ছোট্ট মাচাং ঘর, ভয়াল শীত রাতে প্রতারক ঘিরে গ্রীষ্মে কেটেছে জ্বর। কুয়াশা বুকে গেছে থুরঙের চাপে ভারে, অবঙ্গ্রী ওই যায় দেখে না দুই চোখে স্পষ্ট আকারে, তবু হাঁকে রাস্তায় রেফ্রেসা মু, রেফ্রেসা মু। এখানে কিছু আদিবাসী শব্দ ব্যবহার করা হয়েছে, কিছু ইন্ডিজিনাস শব্দ। এগুলির আমি অর্থ একটু বলে দিচ্ছি। রেফ্রেসা মু হচ্ছে রাখাইন শব্দ। রেফ্রি মানে হচ্ছে চিরুনি, মু হচ্ছে পিঠা, তার মানে হচ্ছে চিরুনি পিঠা। রেগে খাং হচ্ছে মারমা শব্দ, এটার অর্থ হচ্ছে শঙ্খ নদী। থুরং হচ্ছে মারমা শব্দ, এটা পিঠে ভারী বোঝা বইবার পক্ষে উপযোগী এক ধরনের জুড়ি। অবঙ্গ্রী হচ্ছে মারমা শব্দ, সকলে যে মহিলাকে আদর করে দাদি বা নানি ডাকে। ধন্যবাদ।
Many thanks, Hafiz bhai. We will come back to you again. Many thanks for reading these beautiful verses.
Thank you.
And our next poet is Sanaz again. But Mitul, if you kindly read some audience's feedback in the meantime.
Yeah.
And then we'll start listening from Sanaz.
জিল্লুর রহমান, যখন তুমি কবিতাটি খুব ভালো লেগেছে। মুস্তাক দিন, শরীক হতে দেরি হয়ে গেল, শুনছি ভালো লাগছে। হাফিজ ভাই, টোটেমের রাতে হত্যাকাণ্ড থেকে পড়ুন। আয়শা আপু আপনাকে শুনছি ভালো লাগছে সবকবি হাফিজ ভাইকে শোনার অপেক্ষায় এলিনাজ শুনছি ভালো লাগছে হাফিজ ভাইয়ের কবিতা বিজয় একটা সাদা প্রজাপতি বাহ মুশতাকদিন has also written আয়শা ঝর্ণার কবিতা ভালো লাগলো Jauhar said poet Aisha Jhorna's poems are bewildering. Thank you.
Thank you. Many thanks to some wonderful poets who left beautiful comments uh, um, in the comment thread and then watching from Bangladesh. One is Mustaq Ahmadin, a wonderful friend of us, a phenomenal poet of this time in Bangladesh, who has been featured as part of the series just last episode. Zilur Rahman also was featured as part of this series. Many thanks for watching. Shahid Kais also left a comment. Many thanks, Shahid, um, for watching and inspiring with beautiful comments. Sanaz, so let us. Before we move on to your poetry, would you mind sharing what you are reading now?
I'll be reading 2 or 3 short poems of my collection that available now on Amazon. The title is I Walk on Dead Letters. This book was translated to Arabic before and was so successful book. Now it's 3rd edition. And it participate in many huge Arab exhibition in all Arab countries. I hope that the English version is had the same success like the Arabic version.
Right.
I love you. How simple was my dream. It thought that these sentences was said only by you and messengers. Seeing you is an everlasting habit. When you are absent, I see you more than ever.
Bah.
Stay at wherever you are. Love is a strange event. If you are present, it will be present too. If you are not, it will be present more. Me and you look at the clothes. You left, and I would be rain with the clothes. We are alive in our graves, but we are dead in our bedrooms.
Great.
Life is not suitable for us, and death is not any human's size. To be or not to be, this question is a big mistake. Thank you.
What a philosophically exuberant line. We are alive in our grave.
Yeah.
And we are dead in our battle. How beautifully said, Sana. How beautifully said. So if you kindly read another Persian poem.
Persian, yes. در گورهایمان زنده‌ایم و در تخت خوابهایمان مرده. زندگی به ما نمی آید و مرگ سایز هیچ انسانی نیست. بودن یا نبودن. مسئله اشتباهی بزرگ است. Merci. You're welcome.
Many thanks. I was meant to ask during this COVID, are you reading anything special that you can share? And then perhaps our audiences will be interested in to read? Any poets of Persian, perhaps any poets of Persian background, or any European poet, or any special books that you are reading, and you think our audiences would be interested in if you share whatever you're reading at this moment. Any special book you're reading now?
Now I reading some Iranian plays that I unfortunately not translated to English. Yes, it's in Persian, because I'm so interested in art and theater, and now I'm reading. I hope that one day to translate to English, so I can.
Please do,
Yes,
please do. Especially Iranian poetry, Iranian theater, and Iranian films are as powerful as Iranian poetry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, we know so many filmmakers, Mohsin Mahmoud, for example.
Yes, Asghar Farhadi.
Abbas Kiarostami, for example. So many wonderful, world-leading filmmakers at this moment.
Thank you.
So we are equally interested in Iranian theater. So if you kindly, perhaps, Jafar Panahi, another favorite, one of my favorite filmmakers now, Jafar Panahi, and many others. So I'm sure you perhaps will be translating in English some of the.
Exactly.
Look forward, Sanaz, and then we'll ask for your concluding note afterwards. But our next poet is Saubhik De Sarkar. Saubhik, actually, if you kindly share, মানে আপনার তো বোঝা যাচ্ছে কুর্তাজার অনুবাদ করছেন, তো সুতরাং আপনার একটা ইন্টারেস্ট আছে, সিরিয়াস ইন্টারেস্ট আছে ওয়ার্ল্ড লিটারেচার নিয়ে। এখন কি পড়ছেন বলুন তো, হোয়াট আর ইউ রিডিং এট দিস মোমেন্ট? এই মুহূর্তে আমি জানি অজস্র, একটা দুটো না, অজস্র একসঙ্গে একটা বই পড়ার অভ্যেস অনেক আগেই চলে গেছে, because our mind works so multi-dimensionally. So we are engaged in reading many books at a time. So what are you reading at this moment?
Well, actually, these days I'm just reading the poetry of Charles Simic, and some poems of Ranjit Hoskote. He's a very fantastic poet, and some essays on casteism by Suraj Iengre. So these are the books which these days I'm just reading. Suraj Iengre. Yeah, he's a.
And what is the title of the book? What is the title of the book?
Caste Matters. Caste Matter.
Okay.
Well, and apart from these days I was just working on Sadat Hasan Manto's letters, his personal letters. I was translating the letters, so it was a huge task, and I was just reading so many references and his personal memoirs and letters and all other things. I would like to read two of my translated poems which I wrote during this period, this COVID period. Shall I?
Yeah, please do. But before you do this, I'm just asking, someone just mentioned that perhaps a film was made on the life of Sadat Hasan Manto. Is that true? Are you familiar with this, or have you somehow?
Yes, that was done by Nandita Das, and
Nandita Das,
yes.
Someone just mentioned vaguely, and then I checked in YouTube, but I didn't find it.
Maybe it's Netflix and other streamers will get it. And it's a very beautiful movie.
Okay, great. Thank you, Saubhik. If you kindly start reading. Thank you.
First poem, Sixth Day of Journey. A prolonged sickness with nails and fingers. I'm carrying myself towards it. I'm losing my senses. With a piece of my chopped off tongue, I'm wandering around. My mouth tastes like salt and melancholy of my blood and speech. Possibility of shutdown doesn't exist within the core of a nation that has lost its senses. The second poem, The House. A window has lost its polish of mercury, resembles me and is keeping awake. Destiny considers my words, darkness of my broken teeth. A bunch of pandemic removes my window. It's an unforgivable week, forgetting the last dates of return. A house stood there like a rock, windowless. Thank you.
You can read another one if you're okay.
Uh,
Beautiful.
So we are familiar with the history, particularly the history of barbed wire,
Mhm.
which divides two countries, and there are some enclaves, chitmahals. We are very familiar with these words, chitmahals. So once I worked with the chitmahals, so chitmahal tripped in my poems several times. One I'm reading, Kuchlibari Outpost. It's in translation. You, who is upright with a conditional dawn and opening your boundary, secret canal. You, who is subsequent memory organized crime. You, who is an electric wire fast sinking to the unfathomable end of water. Colorblind universe lodged till the end. You are digging, excavating to observe soil level, phase of displacement, and expansion of bloodless slate raised. Thank you very much for such beautiful evening and wonderful
Wonderful,
poetry.
Shovik. Wonderful, Shovik. You made this evening beautiful with
Thank you.
such a haunting and intriguing verses of poetry. Many thanks, Shovik. We'll come back to you again for the concluding note. Our next poet.
Thank you.
Read any comment? That's fine in between. Will get me?
Yeah. Taposh Roy, namaskar. Alan Doc Francis, hi, namaskar. Great, powerful flow. Then জুনান নাশিদ, ভালো লাগছে, শুভকামনা সকলকে। সেবন্তী ঘোষ, কর্মক্ষেত্র সারা সন্ধ্যা ব্যস্ত রেখেছে, এখন দেখছি চমৎকার আয়োজন। Jawhar Hussain, it felt really amusing listening to poet Shobhik De's poem অন্ধ তিনজন। সেজুতি বড়ুয়া, শৌভিক দে সরকার, চমৎকার। মোস্তাকদিন, আয়শা ঝর্ণার কবিতা ভালো লাগলো। Thank you.
Thank you, Mitul. Also, Shabunti Ghosh was featured as part of this series, a wonderful poet of this time. Many thanks, Shabunti, for watching. And then Shelinaz also left a comment before. Thank you, Shelinaz, for watching. Shelinaz, a phenomenal poet from Bangladesh, feminist poet from Bangladesh, who also left a comment there and has been featured as part of this series. Many thanks. So, Nigar, if you kindly read the rest of the poems.
Yes, sure, with pleasure. So now I'm going to read The Wind. It's called The Wind. Hey wind, knocking door to door. Is that wonder you're looking for? Is that enough for you? Where are they now, those open doors? From the hot sunny days of summer? Where are those that loved you, to diners and tourists, who once were pleased to welcome you and treat you as their guest? I went, knocking door to door. Where are your lovers now? Now the weather's turned to winter. Have they turned cold as well? Don't knock, my dear, don't knock. No one's opening their door. No one will look out for you nor call on you no more. Who, I ask? Now the weather's changed, would call on you at all. Go, dear, go. Just wander round these dull grey streets and break dry trees in anger. Just wait as winter turns to summer, and your friends, dear wind, with the sun, will grow again once more. The next poem is The Clock is Slow. Look at the world's clock. It's an hour slow. Either joy is late or life is drawn by sorrow. Even if it talks and laughs like a happy old man, the world's laughs are lame as the tide passed. Is baking or shaking with a wishful hand, and spends the days on steps fighting against the wind. Out of the sleepy sides falling his nights, the broom is the closed hands, wakes up the sleepy streets. Is the driver on the bus, passenger in the breeze, looking for his fate with the hope to change. Look at the world's clock, it's an hour slow. Let's set up it anew for a better life than now. Should I read the next one?
Yes, sure.
You do, please.
The reconciliation.
Wonderful.
I have already read in Azerbaijani. Hey man, taking hours at himself. Have you done a lot of sinning? All you have lost is just yourself. Is there anything you gained? Who took you from you? Who left you to the void? Who put his hands on your heart and calmed you like that? Who ruined your life and fate looking at your sorry face? What did you leave in your eyes, dropping as tears? Maybe it's you, and you have become a pain for yourself. Maybe you just let your joys slip through your fingers. Hey, you, who is oppressed by sorrow, walking in his thoughts, getting tired of his ways, losing the sentiment complaints. Hey, you, turn back, make peace with yourself, shake hands, and have praise with that one whom you turned away. The next one is When You Left. I used to see the lifestyles of life in the geography classes. I used to see the truths that erupted like volcanoes and plains on which was creeping the lies under the truths. I used to see fell down knees of the highest mountains. The same wind was blowing in all countries. The same rain was raining all over the world. I was the country myself. Yes, I was. When I wanted to salute the country like you, my heart was shaking like it was an earthquake. Sweet waters were running, pure springs were running in the bottom of the most rocky and barren lands. I used to see the beautiful faces of the best creatures in the far-off places. When you left, I realized that human being is the biggest iceberg. He is melting for years and flowing to dying. So
Thank you. If you kindly read another Azerbaijan poem.
Yeah, sure. It's called At the Door of Parting. In Azeri's ayrılık kapısında. Hiç bilmirəm harda bitdi. Sona yetdi sevgimiz. Nə vaxt, necə hörüldü ayrılıq çələngimiz. Bəlkə də lap əzəldən görüşməli deyildik. Doğrudanmı bir eşqə? ya həvəsəyirdik. Bəlkə də uşaq idi məhəbbətin əlində, o əl ayırdı bizi. Bəlkə də yanılıram. Biz özümüz böyütdük elə bir-birimizi. Bəs ayrılıq nə idi? Ayrılıq neymiş bəs? Ayrılıq bir acı çay, ayrılıq zəhər imiş. Hər gün yoxsuz gecə yoxsunu tapanda ayrılıq səhər imiş. Oxuduğum kitabda tapdığım birinci söz, bir ovuc qəhər imiş. Ayrılıq zəhrə tökən, ölümdən betər imiş. Heç bilmirəm hardaydı ayrılığın qapısı. Gör bilsəm nə olsun, indən belə
Thank you, Nigar. Can you hear me, Nigar? Perhaps Nigar has a bit of trouble, technical glitch, perhaps. So let us move on to our next poet, Aysa Jhorna.
Hello. আমাকে পড়তে বলা হচ্ছে, shall I read?
Yes.
Next, please.
Okay. I shall read two poems more. First of all, হাজার দুয়ারি গান। বহুকাল আগে পাথর জলে দ্বৈত মর্মরিত সুর থেকে আমি জেনেছিলেন জীবন একটা রঙিন পাকুড়ের ঠুটো ফল কিংবা টিয়ার ছবির ঝালর, কোন নির্জন পথের ধারে একদল সাত ভায়ালার হৃদ্যতা। সূর্য যখন উদর্গ তাপ আর আলো দিয়ে জ্বালায় পৃথিবী, তখনই বেরিয়ে আসে কিছু শিশুমুখ, করুণ, বিষণ্ণ। ফুটপাত ধরে হাঁটছো যে তুমি, সেও তো ওই শিশুমুখ হয়ে ঘুমাতে চাইছে ছায়া ঘন মায়া ঘরে। এরকম দিনে শহরের পথগুলো পথ নয়, মিহি বালুকণা, আংরাখা পড়া হাজার দুয়ারি। I would like to read another poem that is চেষ্টিত সতীত্ব। অসংখ্য লোকের ভিড়ে উপড়ে পড়ে থাকে, হাত পা ভাঁজ করে। এ আসে ও আসে, আমার চোখ খুবলে না, চক্ষু শূন্য কোটর থেকে রক্ত ঝরে। কেউ একজন এসে আমার নাক খুবলে নেয়, নাক ছাবি খুঁজতে দিয়ে যে কেউ এসে খোঁজে আমার সতীত্ব, কেউ খোঁজে শাখা সিঁদুর। সিঁদুর খুঁজতে যে আমার মাথার চামড়া তুলে ফেলে। চুড়ি ভাঙলে আমার হাতের হাড় বেরিয়ে আসে, আমি তবু পাথর, উপড়ে পড়ে থাকা বিন্দু। অসংখ্য ছুরির আঁচড় খেয়ে মা আমাকে আঁকড়ে ধরে আর বলে, মেয়ে আমার আয় এই নেই তোকে জঠরে আমার। আমি ঠিক তখনই জেগে উঠি পাথর ঘুম থেকে, গুটিসুটি মেরে শুয়ে থাকি মায়ের বুকে। মা আমার মৃত্যুকে সহজ করতে গায় ঘুম পাড়ানি গান। সে গান ছড়িয়ে পড়ে নদীর জলে, যেখানে টুকটাক রক্ত ঝরে অবিরাম, মৃত্যু নাম। I would complete my session by reading another poem that is Maple Leaf.
Bah.
একটা ঝড় বইছে, একটা চাপা আতঙ্ক এই শহরে ভাইরাসের মতো ছড়িয়ে পড়ছে, তার নাম মৃত্যু। মৃত্যু যে কোনো সময় তোমার ঘর মটকাতে পারে, তুমি জানবেও না। শুধু ভাবো, মৃত্যুটা সহজ হবে নাকি বিভৎস। মৃত যারা তারা এসে যদি বলতো কতটা সহনীয় ছিল মৃত্যুকালীন সময়টা, সেই চাপা আতঙ্ক নিয়েই তুমি ঘুরে বেড়াও। কাশফুল দেখো, দেখো স্বর্গের আকাশ কতটা নীল। দেবীর আগমনী, বুদ্ধের অহিংস বাণী, জেসাসের করুণ মূর্তি আমাদের আশ্বস্ত করতে পারছে। ভাবো, কোথাও বেরিয়ে পড়বে এই মৃত্যু আতঙ্ক, কোথায় যান? সবখানে ওত পেতে আছে প্রাণঘাতী বিশ্বাস অবিশ্বাসের দ্বন্দ্ব। তুমি মেপেল লিফ দেখে মুগ্ধ হয়ে মেপেল লিফ গান করো। জানো না, বরফ পড়বে আর কিছুদিন পরে, শীতের চাবুকের নিচে ঢাকা পড়বে ওর সব সৌন্দর্য। Thank you to all of you. Ending my session here.
Many thanks, Aisha. I'll come back to you for concluding comment. Our last poet is Hafiz Rashid Khan. Hafiz bhai, if you kindly read some more poem. If you kindly unmute yourself, you're muted at this moment. Thank you. Yeah.
সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি, যেহেতু এটা বোধহয় শেষ পর্ব। শাহান আর কায়সার, আপনাদের জন্য শুভেচ্ছা রইল অনেক। আর আমি এখন দুটো কবিতা পড়ব টোটেমের রাতে হত্যাকাণ্ড কাব্যগ্রন্থ থেকে। টোটেমের রাতে হত্যাকাণ্ড 1। অন্ধকারের ভেতর দ্বীপপুঞ্জে চোখের আলোক, আমি জ্বলি, আমি অন্ধ নই। চারপাশ কার্পাসের চাষের মধ্যে মানিনীর গভীর আয়ত ক্ষেত্রের জোর। তবু আমি ডেকে বলি, সর্দারজি, পশুপতি প্রভুর ফরমান, আমার স্নায়ুর কেন্দ্রে আমি ভগবান। টোটেমের রাতে হত্যাকাণ্ড 2। রক্তের ফোয়ারা দ্বীপপুঞ্জের প্রভাত বেলায়, সূর্যের কুমার পুত্রগণ ঘাটে ঘাটে, অরণ্যের ফাঁকে, ফসল ও সবুজ ফলের মধ্যে সোনালী বীর্যের মন্ত্রপাতে। অন্ধকারের ভেতর দ্বীপপুঞ্জে একটা চাঞ্চল্যকর টোটেমের রাতে আমার চোখের হত্যাকাণ্ড, তবু আমি অন্ধ নই। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you. Many thanks, Hafiz Rashid Khan, and many thanks to all poets who made our time so beautiful. As I'm sure audiences are saying the same things. I would like to go back to each of our poets, if they would like to add something as their concluding note. Let's start from Saubhik. If you'd like to add something as your concluding note, as we are approaching to the end.
Thank you, Gronthee, for organizing such a beautiful event. This pandemic, it's a wonderful experience. And I would like to thank everyone. Thanks again.
Many thanks. Aisha, if you kindly add your concluding note.
Yes, it had a wonderful evening, and I enjoyed a lot. This is the first session for me because I didn't yet join any online session. That's why there had some difficulties, but it's okay now. So I enjoyed all of the poets, Nigar, the other poets, especially
For some reason, she just, yeah.
Shamim, yes. I like the Iranian poets also, and Hafiz bhai also is there, and all of especially your, you know, যেভাবে সঞ্চালন করেছেন, very good thing. So thank you to Gronthee. I hope it will be a great event for all poets will join here. Thank you to all.
Exactly, Aisha. নিশ্চয়ই আর এই কবিদের পরে যেন we can meet each other. That is important. When two poets meet, a revolution starts. When two poets, so two creative people meet, ওই ক্ষেত্র আর চের একটা সামান্য হলো, বিস্ফোরণ হয়ে গেল। তা আমার কাছে মনে হয় for artistic explosion we need to meet each other. এই জন্যে ডেফিনেটলি আমরা চেষ্টা করব লন্ডনে একটা করতে, অথবা ঢাকায় হতে পারে, মেক্সিকোতে হতে পারে, আজারবাইজানে হতে পারে। We can meet in Azerbaijan, we can meet in Mexico, we can meet in London. At least we know we are not far away. We are living in just under one umbrella, in one family. এবং সৃজনশীল মানুষেরাই এই পৃথিবীকে বাসযোগ্য করার জন্য একটু মানে বক্তৃতার মতো লাগছে যদিও হালকা বলছি আর মানে কান এগুলো আবার মানছে না এইসব শব্দগুলো বলতে গেলে কিন্তু এটা সত্যি যে মানে for this art to be worthful living a artists have to continue their creation, meet each other এবং এই আর্টিস্টের মিলনের মাধ্যমে আর্টিস্টের মাধ্যমেই যে ফিউশন গুলো তৈরি হবে এই ফিউশন গুলোই এক্সপ্লোশন এবং আপনারা এটা লক্ষ্য করছেন কিনা আমি জানি না যে নাও আমি গতকাল বলেছি একটা জায়গাতে নাও উই স্টার্টেড an age of individualism এটা বোধহয় capitalist world has thrown us to that direction কারণ হলো আগে দেখুন মানে especially in early 20th century we had so many movement surrealism বলেন imagism বলেন dadaism বলেন cubism বলেন so many movements started in art as a whole now because we are moving to a very lonely individualism not we actually because we don't have any choice capitalism has thrown us to that direction এবং এই জন্য এই যে মানে এই মানুষের আইডিয়াস গুলোর ফিউশনের মাধ্যমে যে মুভমেন্ট গুলো হয় এই মুভমেন্ট গুলো আর এখন ওইভাবে হয় না তো এই জন্য আমার কাছে মনে হয় যে more than any other time this is the right time to meet each other and develop new ideas help each other support each other and develop historical ideas we can perhaps write good poetry এখানে যারা আছেন তারা they have such a great brilliance and talent they are I mean they are very good writer very good poet কিন্তু for leaving a mark for making us the part of history I think we need to march we need to meet each other so that I mean explosion start from there revolution start from there so many thanks Aisha Nigar if you kindly conclude if you kindly add your concluding note
Yes, sure. It was very nice to be with you and to talk with you, to communicate and to get acquainted with such great poets from different parts of the world. And I like their readings and their poems too. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it a lot.
Many thanks, Nigar. Look forward to meeting you soon. And then Hafiz Bhai, if you kindly add your concluding note.
আমি আসলে খুবই খুশি হয়েছি আমার মনে হচ্ছে অনেকদিন পর যেন আমি একটা সত্যিকারের একটা আনন্দময় একটা সভায় উপস্থিত হয়েছি গ্রন্থের এই আয়োজন শাহান এবং কায়সারকে খুব কাছে থেকে দেখার যে অনুভূতিটা পেলাম এবং দুজন যে কবি সানাজ এবং আরিফ নিগার তাদের সঙ্গে পরিচিত হলাম খুব ভালো লেগেছে দ্বিতীয়ত আয়েশা ঝর্ণা শফিক দে সরকারের কবিতা আগে পড়েছি তাদের সঙ্গে এই যে ভার্চুয়াল দেখাটা হলো এটাও আমার খুব ভালো লাগছে সব মিলিয়ে গ্রন্থির এই আয়োজন আমাকে খুব বেশি আনন্দ দিয়েছে এবং খুব বেশি উদ্দীপিত করেছে আমি গ্রন্থির এই আয়োজনকে শুভেচ্ছা জানাই এবং ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি সবাইকে
Many thanks Hafiz Bhai Mitul if you kindly add your concluding note.
John F. Kennedy once said, when power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. And I believe at this time of lockdown, poetry is helping us social distance from all sorts of hatred, malice, and violence through this wonderful initiative, 100 Poets Around the World for Love. And I'd like to thank you all 5 poets, and all those who previously joined us for being part of this initiative and helping us make a difference. Thank you.
Many thanks Mitul and many thanks for your great support from behind the scene. Wonderful. an immense gratitude for that. Shamim Shahan, if you kindly do concluding that.
Thank you, Kaysher. Many thanks, poet Hafiz Rashid Khan, poet Aysa Jhorna, poet Saubhik De Sarkar, poet NigarArif, and poet Sanaz DavoodzadehFar for joining Gronthee's initiative 100 Poets Around the World for Loves. Many thanks for your wonderful contribution. You will be delighted to know that the Gronthee has decided to publish a book with the poems that are being read, will be read, that is part of the Gronthee series along the brief bio each poet. The title of the book will remaining as same as the name of the series, which I believe will serve as a diary for all writer friends around the world. Many thanks with endless love. Thank you.
Many, many, many thanks, Shamim Shahan, the editor of the Gronthee. And কি বলবো মানে এত কবিদের পাশে থাকলে আর মানে ঘুরে ফিরতে ইচ্ছে করে না, ঘুরে বসে আছি যদিও মনে হয় যে if that would continue forever, এই যে এটা এত সুন্দর একটা সন্ধ্যা কাটলো, কি চমৎকার। এবং সানাজ এখানে নেই, সানাজ একটা লাইনে বললেন, what a philosophically exuberant line, we are alive in our graveyard and we are dead in our battle. এবং আসলেই আমি বারবার বলি, our life is perhaps destined to be defeated, although the existentialist philosophers and especially Ernest Hemingway said differently, to encourage man can be destroyed but not to be defeated. I think this is destined to be defeated, and we are perhaps I'm talking from personal depression, but this is true in another way, another sense. So dead, we are dead in our battle, but perhaps we can win, at least in surface, if poets and artists meet together and make this world beautiful to live, make this world worth for living. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Phenomenal contribution in this session. We are looking forward for another 9 sessions, and then perhaps another depression comes, because this is when you wait for the next session, that is perhaps another way that keeps you alive. Wow, we are meeting some more poets, some wonderful poets, and we will be listening more haunting verses, captivating verses, magical verses of poetry. And when it will finish, we'll have to find out for more ideas. So please suggest us with more ideas so that we can meet more poets, more wonderful people, wonderful human beings on this earth. And then I personally believe poets are the most wonderful people in this earth. So thank you once again, and look forward to meeting you face to face, and stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.